Hello everybody and welcome to another Affinity Designer tutorial. Today we're going to be doing the Deadpool blood brush tutorial. If you've been following me, I've been doing a couple pixel persona tutorials like the BB-8 one where I kind of show you how to do something in vector and then go in and through the pixel persona just add a little bit of shade and kind of give it a little depth and take it to a different dimension. This one's really going to focus in the pixel persona. We're going to make the Deadpool logo, which is pretty easy in vector, and then the whole rest of this tutorial we're going to be in the pixel persona, and we're going to be I'm going to show you guys how to use masks to kind of mask out objects and brushes, and how to just make this crazy. I thought Deadpool was the perfect one. In some of my other past tutorials, I'm talking about making brushes. We've been getting by with the default brushes that Affinity Designer comes with, but I was trying to do this tutorial with they make some spray paint brushes that come with Affinity Designer. Just wasn't cutting it. I figured, you know what, it's time to just get in and do a brush pack. So before you get started, these brushes do not come with Affinity Designer. You're going to have to go to my website and download them. I do have, so my website is vectorart.club, not .com, .club, Vector Art Club. And you're going to go down. This is my latest post. The Deadpool one will be here. And in the YouTube link below, there will be a direct link to it. So you can download the free pack, which is going to be 5 brushes, which is all we're going to use for this. We're not going to go, I'm not going to be using the Pro Pack. However, there will be a Pro Pack available for, I think it's going to be like $2.99 or something, and that's going to come with 15 brushes. So 5 brushes for free, go download them, and that's what we're going to use for this. In the future, I may do another tutorial with the Pro blood pack, showing everything off and showing what else you get. Speaking of the future, if you like this and you've been following me or just kind of clicking around on some Affinity tutorials, make sure you subscribe to me. I got some really cool ideas in the future. We'll see how the brushes go. If they do good, we'll have more brushes coming up. But definitely give me a subscribe if you're liking this. And let me show you how to install the brushes really quick, and then we'll just get right into this tutorial. So first thing you want to do is, if you don't know already, Affinity Designer has 2 personas. You have the draw persona and the pixel persona. This is the vector, this is the pixels. So the brushes are pixel brushes. So you want to be in the pixel persona. And as you can see, as you switch back and forth through the personas, the brush palette changes because there are 2 different brushes. There's vector brushes and there's pixel brushes. These are pixel brushes. So you want to be in the pixel persona, and then you want to click on this right here, and you want to do import brushes. Once you download the brushes, they'll presumably be on your desktop or whatever folder you put into them. You want to navigate to the actual file, which is going to be a .af brushes file. It might be zipped, so you just want to find and it's going to actually say under kind Affinity brushes. You're going to want to open that, and I already have it open, or installed. So, but it's going to show up in this categories drop down here, and you're going to want to go to the free pack. If you have the Pro Pack, I'm going to show you the Pro Pack here. 15 brushes. It does include the ones that are in the free pack. So if you get the free pack, test it out, and then you go to the Pro Pack, there's no need to keep the free pack. You can click here and delete category, and the free pack is a category. So, okay, we're ready to roll. Let's get right into it. Let me just cross this out. And okay, so we have a new file here. And first thing we're going to do, we are going to start in the draw persona, and we're going to go ahead and just make Deadpool's logo. So start with the circle, and let's pick a nice red out. Something right about there. Okay, now we're going to make a new layer. And we're going to make another circle. And this is going to be his inside circle. Let's just go ahead and make this black. We do not want a stroke on this. And let's just kind of eyeball it up for how big we want it to be. If you have the magnet tool turned on right here, that's kind of how you make sure everything's centered when you get these two lines. So let's kind of take a look at this one. And yeah, that looks about right there. Okay, so now we're going to make a square. We're going to go in here. That way we make sure we got the right red. Click that. And let's line this up. And that looks about right. Now, you could do this and you could, just stack that up. And that does look right. But I just want to show you how to actually make this break into two parts. And I've shown this a couple times in my tutorials. Select this, the two layers you want. We're going to select this middle one here, which if you hover over it, it's going to be, well, anyway, it basically says the bottom layer is going to get cut by the top layer. And we're going to use this one, which is subtract. So we're going to subtract that from that. And there we go. Now we actually have a, the shape we want. Okay, now all we need to do is make one more new layer, and we're going to make Deadpool's eyes. Okay, his eyes are just kind of like these little triangle things. And let's fill that with a white, no stroke. And let's go in here and just kind of get this a little... and what I did right there, if you clicked on it and it wasn't, if you get this harsh edge, you can go ahead and click the middle one to smooth it out, and it will give you the handle. And you can kind of get his eyes made here. And that looks about right. Close enough. Okay, so one thing I want to show you before we get going here is the inspiration for this tutorial. This is one of the movie posters when they announced the Deadpool movie. This was one of the posters that they showed. So let me kind of go over here again, and I don't know if you guys seen it, but this is kind of what I'm going off of and what we're doing. So let me actually delete that. This file will be available on the website to download as well. If you're following along, but then you're like, wait, how did he kind of go about? You can actually download the full file and click through and go, oh, okay, the mask goes there. I get it, blah, blah, blah. So there's that. All we want to do is let's just right click and I guess I can't do it from there. From here, right click, duplicate, or Command J. And we're going to hold the shift button, bring it over there, and then now we want to right click, transform, and flip horizontally. And there we go, man. The Deadpool logo, probably next to the Green Lantern logo, probably one of the easiest logos to make. We're going to grab all this, and we're going to hit Command G to group this all together. We're going to call this Deadpool logo. And bam. Okay, that is it for the vector portion of this. Now we're going to click over into the pixel persona, and that is where we're pretty much going to stay for the rest of this tutorial. So just so you know, there are two different layer types. There are add layer, which is going to add a vector layer, and then add pixel layer, which is what we need here. So if you're drawing and your brush isn't working, you're like, what the heck? Just make sure it's a pixel layer. That's what we want to add. Okay. So now we want to do this background here. Okay, so we want to make this background, and I started out with just a couple of the default Affinity brushes real quick, just to kind of get something going, and then it's blood brushes for the rest of the tutorial. So if we go into texture, the ones that I like are this, if it rolls over, Grunge 1 and Grunge 7, I believe. Okay, so Grunge 1 and Grunge 7 are what I use. These are already in Affinity Designer. You should already have these. I went with like just a dark gray. Once you have the brush you want selected, you go over here and click brush, or you can click the B for the quick key. However, I want to show you one thing, and we're going to do something here. So basically the brush, there's a brush and then like a pixel tool. If you hit B for the quick command, it switches between the two. And the pixel tool, let's switch this up here. There's no gradients, there's no nothing, as where the brush tool, as you can see, that's the exact same brush. I don't personally like it at all. I really just don't see any use for it. If I wanted a harsh brush like that, I'll just make it in the brushes. So what I like to do is I just have it on for the tutorial. Normally, because I do use key commands a lot, I just delete this. I really just don't see any purpose of that tool. So if you go to View, and then you go to Customize Toolbar. Oops, I'm sorry, not Customize Toolbar. Customize Tools. Okay. We're just going to drag this right out. I don't even want it. If you want to add it again, you can go ahead and add it again, but I don't want it. We're just getting rid of it. So hit close. Okay, so now when we hit, let's go to the eraser. Okay, hit B, and then you could also hit B twice to go back and forth from the eraser to the brush. But we don't even want that pixel tool brush. So I only have it in here for tutorials so people don't get screwed up. So let's delete this pixel layer, make a new pixel layer, drag it to the bottom. We're on grunge number 1, and I'm going to make it big and just kind of add a little, even drop it down to 70, and just kind of add some oops, I don't like that. We're duplicated. We're just going to kind of go some different sides. Okay, so all I want to do is just a little bit of that because, like I said, then we go to Grunge 7. Like I said, it's going to be too much. If we just go and just keep doing like straight blood brushes, it's just going to get way too crazy. And then maybe go a little darker here. That way we got some gradient going on. Okay, that's it for the Affinity Designer brushes. Now we go right into the blood brush free pack, and we're gonna go to the second one, which I call Red Mist, which is just crazy. Like this one's just the one you want to use for, you know, that splatter. You got to be light with it because it's just gonna get nuts if you use it too heavily. But as you can see, it's just adding like a lot of texture, and you're going to kind of keep going different sizes. And you know, now we can go like black on this, and let's just add a little bit in the bottom here. Switch the size up, then we'll kind of go small, and that is it. Just some splashes. the red mist, black mist here. So, okay, so now that's done. We've got this set up. Okay, now we're going to go into the mask, and I'm going to show you first. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to mask out the shapes. Okay, so we're going to mask out, and yes, as you can see, this is masked out. So these holes are literally punched through, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And then the second step is to put the blood over top. Oops. Okay, so let's get started with that. So basically, I've showed you in a lot of my other videos that you can drop stuff into the layer, and that's what's going to get affected. So we basically want to make a new mask layer, okay? And what we want to do is drop it into the layer that we want to be masked. Now, we want this at the top because it will affect all of the below layers in this group. If, let's say, we only want the eyes affected, or I'm sorry, we want everything under the eyes affected, it would go here, and it would only affect these layers, but we want everything affected, so we're going to put it right there. And the way a mask layer works is it only works on black and white. So whatever is black is going to be the mask. So let's select this is the blood main brush. And I call it the main brush because it's you can kind of draw with it. Let me make a new layer just to kind of show. I'm just going to make a new layer, and as I bring these brushes out, I kind of show what they do. So this brush is going to give us, like, you can kind of create whatever you want with this brush and get started. You want to make sure you kind of keep getting different sizes. But as you can see, that's kind of what this brush does, is it's kind of an all-around, it's kind of just an all-around blood brush. So I kind of feel like this is the main brush to kind of get started and figure out where your stuff's going to be. So, okay. In the mask. And let's just kind of look real quick. So we want to take out quite a bit at the top, kind of around the edges. And we just want to get some big chunks out of this. So we're going to just start with different sizes and kind of coming around and just kind of doing this to it. Kind of going around the edge, make the edge a little, grime it up. We don't really want anything too clean here. You can kind of just, actually, I don't think in the original one any part of the edge is got a clean edge. If it is, it's just a little bit. So that's kind of that. Changing up the size is a big part of this. You really want to make sure your brush size is changing. And I'm holding, to do this, you want to hold Alt and Control, and you can go left to right. And that's all I'm doing. Let me just put like one more here. Kind of break that up. And then maybe a little one here. Okay, that's actually good for that. Okay, good enough start. Okay, so now we want to switch to the mist again, which is just really going to like give this, it's, just kind of random, just holes everywhere, and it's really, messed up. And basically, like I said, the main thing to really kind of sell this is kind of doing different sized brushes, because otherwise everything just looks too uniformed. And so you really want to go through with different sizes and create this. So, okay, maybe we can go through with just a little bit of this around the edge, just kind of make some different edge marks here. This one can also, if you have a lot of like the same, if you're seeing a repeating pattern, you can kind of go in with a different brush and just add to it a little bit so it, you know, tricks the eye. Maybe going to go right here. And these brushes are good for, let me bring this layer back up. So this is, this brush specifically good for like stroking upwards. But, all the brushes are good for like either going in and just doing a quick splat or kind of going around and, you know, creating your like a more detailed pattern. So that's what that brush is. Okay, so that's looking pretty rough right here. And I think we're good with this layer. So that's how you mask stuff out. Let's make one more layer. Oops, it made it in here. We're going to drag this up here. Okay, and then this is going to be the actual, you know, blood splash layer that we're going to make. So let's go into the mist again, just to start out. And we've already selected the red. So we do want to make sure it's the same red so it matches. And we're just going to kind of keep doing the same thing. We're going to variate up the sizing and kind of put a couple splashes. You can get carried away with the red mist brush, so don't get too carried away with it. We're now going to go into the blood mess brush, which is just this crazy, you know, as you can see. And same thing, these brushes are good for just one click, or you know, if you want to kind of go crazy with it, you know, go crazy with it. So you want to use both, and you want to keep switching the size up and down. Okay, so let's just kind of start here. We'll do a couple splashes, one clicks. For the most part, this brush gets crazy quick, so I'm going to just kind of do some one clicks on this. Also, another thing you want to notice about these brushes, the way I have them set up is each time you click, see how now it changes positions. And then that way we're not getting the exact same position of this over and over and over. So just keep that in mind. The white outline you see here, you know, make sure you look in the background for the red outline. And when you click on it, it's going to change. These brushes are all high definition, so they're able to go pretty big. Why'd the color change on that? You know what? I'm not sure. I might have key clicked something, but the color switched on me. Okay, so I'm going to change that back, and I'm going to kind of click here. Kind of go down here. And we're going to go real small with this one. We're going to kind of brush up, just put some extra little splatters around. And kind of go in there. Okay, so the last brush that we haven't used is the drip brush. This one is more for, you wouldn't want to draw with this one. Well, actually, that don't look too bad. For the most part, this one's just going to be like stamps and blops. So I'm going to kind of come in here, put some drips. And maybe we'll do a little drawing with this one, holding that mouse down. Okay, so roughly, you know, I took a little bit more time on this one, but roughly that's, you know, what we got here. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is just how to do the text really quick. And I'll show you how to get that, the blood behind the text. So now the text, we do got to switch back to the draw persona, and we got to make a normal layer because text is considered vector. So that's that. Okay. I have downloaded, I'm not going to give this to you. You got to go online. Just type into Google Fonts, or I'm sorry, type into Google Deadpool movie font, and I was able to find it pretty easy. So that's on you, but go ahead and download the Deadpool movie font if you're specifically doing this exact tutorial. Okay, so we have Deadpool, and that is behind everything here. I'm going to make this white, and what I'm going to do is we're going to make another mask, okay, and it actually put it right in there. So this is exactly where we want it. Whatever happens here, it's going to mask it out. So we want to make a new pixel layer above the text, and we're going to go back into the pixel persona. Let's just click on the red mist one. Ooh, okay, wait, I take that back. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. You do not need a mask for the text one. The text one, and I've shown this in other tutorials. Let me make this a little more crazy just to really show you what's going on here. Okay, so I've shown this in a couple other tutorials where whatever you drag into this, see how this puts it under it? Okay, so now that is under. If you go one up and put it into it, this is going to mask out whatever's beneath it. So you don't need a mask for this one specifically. Just do that. And that's pretty much it. I think that's everything that we did for this one. Let me just show you one more thing that I did have. Just a little trick here. So let me just copy and paste this logo here. And make a new layer, Command V. Okay, so this Affinity Designer logo that I did, it's not actually white. I turned a effect on, and it's actually black. So let me show you. Let me turn this off really quick. Okay, so let's kind of do the same thing here really quick. Let's make a new pixel layer and just put a bunch of blood on it and drop it in. Okay, so that is going to mask out that. The problem is I wanted it white. So the problem is when you put an effect on it and just do a color overlay and you do white, what's going to happen is it's going to like block out what's under it. So this is just a quick little bonus tip, is what I ended up doing is if something like that happens to you, you can control click on the layer and it will marching ants everything. And then all you got to do is be on the pixel layer. Oops, I'm sorry. Shift Command I to invert everything, and then delete it, and Command D to undo it. And that's basically, it's going to cut out that shape. And that's just the way to get around that. That was one issue that I kind of ran into that wasn't really part of the tutorial, but I figured I'd show you. So, okay, guys, hope you enjoyed this. The blood brushes free pack, go ahead, download it from the vectorart.club. And if you guys are liking my Affinity tutorials, I've done a couple already. Like I said, man, I got some really cool ideas. Even some more cool brush ideas coming up. Make sure you give me a subscribe. There's definitely a lot coming up in the future. And I hope you guys got a lot of this tutorial, and I'll see you guys next time.